Very good evening. I am Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha television, where we get you all the big stories from India and across the world. There will also be all the updates on the upcoming monsoon session of Parliament that starts from 14th of September. So let us begin the bulletin with the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi praises role of media during the COVID-19 pandemic, says it did an unprecedented service to the public by spreading awareness on the pandemic and throwing light on the government's work as he inaugurates Patrika Gate through video conference. Prime Minister says the world now listening to India with more attention. India accuses China of trying to intrude into Indian side. Defence Ministry statement says India committed to disengagement and de-escalating situation on the LOC in East Ladakh. Parliamentary Standing Committee conducts investigation into functioning of virtual courts, also finalizes 3 other crucial reports. India has lowest number of COVID-19 cases per 10 lakh population in the world, says Union Health Ministry. Tests done in India cross 5 crore, second only to the tests conducted in the United States. An International Literacy Day being celebrated worldwide, Vice President Naidu says literacy plays important role in empowering and transforming lives. Home Minister Amit Shah says government are working towards mission of education for all. The top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated a Patrika Gate in Jaipur on Tuesday through video conference. He also released the Samvad, the Upanishad and Akshar Yatra books written by the Patrika Group chairman Gulab Kothari. Here are the details.
Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said, the Patrika Gate reflects the culture of Rajasthan. He expressed hope that it will turn into a major domestic and international tourist attraction. The Prime Minister called the 2 books a true representation of Indian culture and philosophy, adding that the authors play a great role in educating the society. He also praised the founder of Patrika Group, Karpur Chandra Kulish's contribution to journalism and his effort to spread knowledge of the Vedas.
गुलाब कोठारी जी और पत्रिका समूह को संवाद उपनिषद और अक्षर यात्रा इस पुस्तकों के लिए, इस रचना के लिए और देश की भावी पीढ़ी को अतीत के साथ संवाद करने के लिए, प्रेरित करने के लिए मैं बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। हर दिन लोगों के घर के दरवाजे खोलता है और पढ़ने के बाद मन के दरवाजे खोलता है। लेकिन आज राजस्थान को एक तोहफे के रूप में गेट मिल रहा है। ये स्थानीय निवासियों के साथ ही वहां आने वाले पर्यटकों के लिए भी आकर्षण का केंद्र बनेगा।
Prime Minister Modi said the enlightened section of the society and writers are like guides and teachers for the society. He said during the freedom struggle, every big name was associated with writing. He also called for inculcating the habit of reading books among the youth.
किसी भी समाज में समाज का प्रबुद्ध वर्ग, समाज के लेखक या साहित्यकार ये पथ प्रदर्शक की तरह होते हैं। एक प्रकार से समाज के शिक्षक होते हैं। स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के दौरान लगभग हर बड़ा नाम कहीं न कहीं से लेखन से भी जुड़ा था। हमारे यहाँ बड़े बड़े संत, बड़े बड़े वैज्ञानिक भी लेखक और साहित्यकार रहे हैं। मुझे खुशी है उस परंपरा को जीवंत रखने का आप सब लगातार प्रयास कर रहे हैं।
Praising the media for the role it played during the COVID-19 pandemic, Prime Minister Modi said it had served people by spreading awareness on the pandemic and throwing light on the government's works and its shortcomings. The Prime Minister asserted that the world is now listening to India with more attention.
मीडिया ने जागरूकता बढ़ाने का काम किया है, सकारात्मक काम किया है। महामारी के इस दौर में कोरोना के खिलाफ जागरूकता अभियान में भी भारतीय मीडिया ने जनता की अभूतपूर्व सेवा की है। सरकार के कार्यों की विवेचना, सरकार की योजनाओं में जमीनी स्तर पर जो कमियां हैं उसे बताना, उसकी आलोचना करना, ये भी हमारा मीडिया बखूबी करता रहा है।
And news on the upcoming Parliament session. The election for the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha will be held on 14th of September at 3 p.m. immediately after the oath or affirmation, obituary references and other formal business that day. Notices of motion for election to the office of Deputy Chairman will be received in the Rajya Sabha notice office up to 12 noon on Friday, 11th of September 2020. Any notice received after 12 noon will be treated as time barred. Chairman Venkaiah Naidu, under Rule 7 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the Rajya Sabha, has fixed 14th of September as the date for holding the election to the office of the Deputy Chairman. Janata Dal United MP Harivansh's term as Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha ended when his term as a member ended on 9th of April. Harivansh was elected Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha in August 2018 as the NDA candidate. UPA's BK Hariprasad was his rival for the post. Harivansh has since been re-elected for a fresh term for Rajya Sabha from Bihar. So far, there is no official word from the BJP or the NDA on the likely candidate. The Congress and the UPA too has not officially announced any candidate. The Deputy Chairman presides over the Rajya Sabha in the absence of the Chairman. The Deputy Chairman is a constitutional position created under Article 89 of the Constitution that specifies that Rajya Sabha will choose one of its MPs to be Deputy Chairman as often as the position becomes vacant. The office becomes vacant either by resignation or removal from office or when the Rajya Sabha member's term gets over. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. And the newly elected or re-elected members of the Rajya Sabha who are yet to make and subscribe oath or affirmation may do so at 3 p.m. on the opening day of the monsoon session of Parliament. With the galleries being used to seat members, no guests will be allowed to witness the oath taking. Chairman Venkaiah Naidu will administer oath to newly elected or re-elected members on the first day of monsoon session of Parliament. A structured procedure has been laid down to make the oath or affirmation of allegiance to the Constitution in the 252nd session. For the oath-taking, members who haven't been assigned specific seats in the Rajya Sabha chamber will sit in the inner or outer lobby of the Rajya Sabha chamber. Members will be called state-wise, arranged alphabetically. Within each state, names of members have also been arranged alphabetically. To avoid any possibility of infection, members are requested to read out only the text given in the oath or affirmation form and not make any additions or deletions. Members have been requested to bring their own pen to sign the roll of members after making oath or affirmation. Members can also use one of the pens kept on the podium and take it with them after signing the roll of members. Members may make and subscribe oath or affirmation either in English or any of the 22 languages in the 8th schedule. Members unable to make the oath or affirmation on 14th of September can do so at 9 a.m. at any subsequent sitting of the House after informing the Secretariat. Members have to make the oath or affirmation according to Article 99 of the Constitution to be able to participate in the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha and its committees with membership rights. Of the 61 members elected to Rajya Sabha from 20 states in the recent biennial and by-polls, 45 made oath or affirmation on 22nd of July. For the first time, Chairman Venkaiah Naidu has decided administration of oath would be done in the chamber of the House during the inter-session period in view of the resumption of department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee meetings. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. More news from Parliament. The Business Advisory Committee of Rajya Sabha has decided that members who wish to speak in a debate should give their names to the table office no later than 30 minutes prior to the commencement of a debate. Here are the details.
Only names received 30 minutes prior to the commencement of a debate will be included in the list of speakers, and no requests received thereafter will be entertained. The Business Advisory Committee recommends allocation of time for debates. Thereafter, the total time is proportionally distributed to parties on the basis of their numerical strength as per the settled formula for the purpose.
And as per convention, a member delivering a maiden speech in the House is not interrupted by other members.
The member is also given reasonable time by the chair for his or her speech. However, in view of the special circumstances, Rajya Sabha chairman has directed that a member making his or her maiden speech should do so in a manner that does not impinge on the time management for the scheduled business of the day and should not exceed 15 minutes.
And special seating arrangements have been made for the 252nd session in compliance of the prescribed 6 feet social distancing norm.
Members will be seated in a staggered manner in the Rajya Sabha chamber, Rajya Sabha galleries and the Lok Sabha chamber. No fixed seat or division number has been allotted to individual members. The number of seats for each party at the different locations has been fixed as per their numerical strength for allocation amongst the members by the respective parties.
And for members of the upper house, the attendance register has been split into 4 parts and placed on separate rostrums in the inner lobby. Members of the upper house have been requested to sign in the space provided against their names in the attendance register and as per the specimen signature furnished to the Rajya Sabha Secretariat. As the sittings are also scheduled on intervening holidays, Saturdays and Sundays, members will be required to sign the attendance registers on those days also to claim the daily allowances. If a member is present but does not sign the attendance register, an unsigned stamp will be affixed against his or her name in the register after 7 p.m. on 14th of September Monday and at 1 p.m. on other days of the session or after the adjournment of the House for the day. E-attendance software will also accordingly be updated. Article 1014 of the Constitution provides that if for 60 days a member of either House of Parliament is absent without permission of the House may declare the seat of the member vacant. In view of the specific provision in the Constitution, it is necessary to maintain an accurate register of attendance of members. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. And no visitor will be allowed to witness the proceedings of the House during the 252nd session of the Rajya Sabha.
It has also been decided to keep the Central Hall exclusively for the use of sitting members of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha as and when the respective house is in session. Therefore, no public and distinguished visitors gallery passes and Central Hall passes will be issued to guests of members. Due to the prevailing COVID-19 situation and to maintain social distancing norms, seating arrangement of the members of Rajya Sabha has been made in a staggered manner in the Rajya Sabha chamber, galleries of the Rajya Sabha except the press gallery and the Lok Sabha chamber.
The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Personnel, Public Grievances, Law and Justice has finalized its crucial report on virtual courts, case management and court management in India.
For the first time, the committee conducted a thorough investigation into the functioning of the courts through video conferencing. The report on virtual courts is crucial in the current situation of COVID-19 pandemic. Other than this, 3 other reports including effective governance, banking and vigilance in revenue matters were finalized. Headed by MP Bhupendra Yadav, the meeting was attended by 12 members.
And in some other news, the first ever World Solar Technology Summit began on Tuesday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged all members of UN to join the International Solar Alliance.
Prime Minister was earlier expected to deliver the inaugural address at the World Solar Technology Summit organized by the International Solar Alliance, but could not do so due to some other engagements. New and Renewable Energy Minister R.K. Singh read out PM Modi's message at the virtual summit. In the message, Prime Minister Narendra Modi exuded confidence that India will increase its existing clean energy capacity of 134 gigawatts to 220 gigawatts by 2022 and stressed on reducing tariffs further through technological advancements.
This alliance had been set up to generate a global dialogue on solar energy, particularly in solar-rich nations that do not possess the resources to utilize it. The objective of the alliance was to pool together the resources and the demand for solar technology as well as finance. The membership of the International Solar Alliance has now been opened up for all the member countries of the United Nations. I strongly urge all nations to join this critical initiative to protect our Mother Earth and scale up the utilization of solar energy as a tool against climate change.
Earlier, Union Minister of Petroleum, Natural Gas and Steel, Dharmendra Pradhan, addressed the inaugural session. The World Solar Technology Summit focuses on state-of-the-art technologies and next-generation technologies that will boost efforts towards harnessing solar energy more efficiently.
Moving on in the bulletin, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has urged people to pledge to donate their eyes and inspire others.
Addressing the valedictory function of National Eye Donation Fortnight, Vice President Naidu said organ donation was one of the noblest causes. He also called for adopting preventive measures, early treatment and corneal transplantation surgery to address the challenge of visual impairment. The Vice President emphasized the need to change the mindset of people by spreading awareness as well as building adequate medical infrastructure for organ harvesting and transplantation at the district level. Noting that time is a critical factor in organ harvesting and transplant, the Vice President underscored the need to create storage infrastructure and expertise to conduct transplant surgeries at the local level. The event was organized by Saksham, a charitable organization that works for empowerment of persons with disabilities.
So I call upon every citizen, especially the youth, to overcome these apprehensions, if any, and pledge to donate their organs. At the same time, we need to improve our medical infrastructure at district level. Time is a critical factor in harvesting the organ from a donor's body and transplanting it. We need to focus on building storage infrastructure.
The World Literacy Day is observed every year on 8th of September. This year, Literacy Day has assumed even more significance amid the COVID-19 crisis, with the mode and focus of learning changing to virtual classrooms and online interactions.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu was among the first to greet people on International Literacy Day. In his message, he said literacy plays an important role in empowering and transforming the lives of individuals and the society. He urged everyone to create a self-reliant, self-confident and competent Bharat that is literate, educated and empowered. The central government has been empowering children and working tirelessly towards its mission of education for all, said Union Home Minister Amit Shah as he greeted people on International Literacy Day. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari said that literacy is the road to human progress and wished everyone on International Literacy Day. Literacy missions across the world have suffered a setback as reaching out to millions of children in poorer countries has become tough online. The theme for this year's International Literacy Day is literacy teaching and learning in the COVID-19 crisis and beyond.
And continuing his Facebook post on lesser-known women freedom fighters and their contribution to India's freedom struggle, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Tuesday highlighted the valor of Naga village girl Gaidin Liu.
She is stated to have led an armed rebellion against the British at the age of 13. She was captured when she was 16 and spent the next 15 years of her youth in prison. She was freed only in 1947 when the Britishers left India. Fondly known as Rani Ma, Rani Gaidanliu ignited the flame of nationalism in the hearts of people of the Northeast. She urged her community to reject the British rule and stop them from implementing oppressive laws. She united people and the call for freedom, saying, "We are free people, the white men should not rule over us." Saluting the spirit of Rani Ma, the Vice President said, "Words can't explain his profound gratitude for the sacrifices she made for all of us and for our future." The Vice President also said that as India moves closer to the historic landmark of 75 years of independence, we need to be ever grateful for the sacrifices of our freedom fighters and draw inspiration from their life stories. He called upon schools to organize visits to their memorials and said wherever possible, light and sound shows should be held to highlight significant historical figures.
And on to the other top story that we are tracking this evening. India has accused China of once again trying to intrude into the Indian side, provoking Indian troops and putting the onus for peace and tranquility on India. Take a look. The Indian Army has said in a statement that on 7th of September 2020, the People's Liberation Army of China was attempting to close in on one of India's forward positions along the LAC. When they were dissuaded from moving forwards, they fired with a view to intimidate. The Indian Army further said its troops exercised great restraint and behaved in a mature and responsible manner despite the grave provocation, adding that its troops did not cross the LAC or open fire at any stage, thus denying accusations made by the PLA. The Ministry of Defence statement said that while India is committed to disengagement and de-escalating the situation on the LAC, China continues to undertake provocative activities. It said, and I quote, "At no stage has the Indian Army transgressed across the LAC or restored to use of any aggressive means, including firing. It is the PLA that has been blatantly violating agreements and carrying out aggressive maneuvers, while engagement at military, diplomatic and political level is in progress. The Indian Army is committed to maintaining peace and tranquility. However, it is also determined to protect national integrity and sovereignty at all costs." The statement made by the Western Theatre Command is an attempt to mislead their domestic and international audience. The development comes 3 days after Defence Minister Rajnath Singh asked China to strictly respect the LAC, not make attempts to unilaterally change the status quo, and work with India for complete disengagement from all friction areas in eastern Ladakh in the midst of military tensions between the two sides. And now a look at the latest COVID-19 situation in the country. After reporting over 90,000 new cases for 2 days in a row, India on Tuesday reported over 75,000 new cases. 75,809 new cases in the last 24 hours took India's total COVID-19 infections to over 42,80,000. 1,133 new fatalities have taken the death toll to 72,775. Recoveries have touched 33.23 lakh, while the recovery rate is 77.65%. Active cases are 8.83 lakh. The 5 states with the biggest 24-hour jump in total cases and deaths are Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. These worst affected states account for 62% cases and 70% deaths in the country. India's cumulative tests for detection of COVID-19 surpassed 5 crore on Tuesday. 11 lakh samples were tested in the last 24 hours. India is testing the second highest number of samples after United States. The average daily tests have demonstrated a consistent increase, a 3.2 times expansion from third week of July, when over 3.26 lakh samples were tested weekly, to the first week of September, when over 10 lakh samples were tested. Tests per million have gone up from 6,396 on 1st of July to 36,703.
डेथ पर मिलियन पॉपुलेशन, तो ये भी भारत में विश्व के सबसे कम आंकड़ों में से है। भारत में 53 डेथ प्रति मिलियन पॉपुलेशन दर्ज की गई हैं। जिन देशों से सामान्यतः हमारी तुलना की जाती है वहाँ प्रति मिलियन डेथ 500 या लगभग 600 या 600 से ज़्यादा प्रति मिलियन हैं। यहाँ ये भी मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि अनेक देशों में डेथ पर मिलियन भारत के आंकड़े के मुकाबले 11 गुना या 12 गुना ज़्यादा है।
The testing lab network in the country is continuously strengthened, which now has 1,668 labs, of which 1,035 labs are government operated and 633 are private labs. India has the second highest cases globally and is placed third in the number of deaths, but at 1.7%, India's case fatality rate is one of the lowest. The number of deaths is far below the US, where 1,93,000 people have died so far, and Brazil, which has over 1,26,000 fatalities. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And globally, the COVID-19 cases have surpassed 27.5 million, and the death toll is nearing 9 lakh.
The Americas are the most affected, accounting for over 14 million cases and 4.86 lakh deaths. The United States has more than 6.4 million cases, while over 1.93 lakh people have lost their lives to the virus. Brazil had a daily count of 10,273 new cases and 310 deaths. With over 4.14 million cases, Brazil is currently behind India and the US. At 1,27,001, Brazil has the second most deaths in the world. Trailing the top 3 countries in terms of confirmed cases are Russia with 1.03 million cases, Peru with nearly 7 lakh cases, and Colombia with more than 6.7 lakh cases. Mexico had nearly 3,500 new COVID-19 cases, its tally now crossing 6.37 lakh. With over 67,000 deaths, it has the world's 4th highest death toll. Spain is facing a resurgence of infection in recent months. 26,560 new infections on Tuesday brought the country's tally to over 5.25 lakh. It now has the highest cases tally in Europe. On Tuesday, several schools reopened for the new academic year despite a surge in cases. The World Health Organization is asking nations to be better prepared for a future pandemic.
This will not be the last pandemic. History teaches us that outbreaks and pandemics are a fact of life. But when the next pandemic comes, the world must be ready, more ready than it was this time. In recent years, many countries have made enormous advances in medicine. But too many have neglected their basic public health systems, which are the foundation for responding to infectious disease outbreaks.
The agency is also in talks with India about joining the COVAX Global Vaccine Allocation Plan. In India, Phase 2 clinical trial of Covaxin is set to begin at the Postgraduate Institute in Haryana's Rohtak.
हमारे लिए इसके लिए पूरी तैयारियां हैं और सेकेंड फेज़ की परमिशन हमें अभी 2 दिन पहले भारत बायोटेक से मिल गई है और उसके लिए हमने पहले से ही 300 लोगों को वॉलंटियर के तौर पर तैयार कर लिया गया था। आज 15 वॉलंटियर्स की जांच कर ली गई है और उनका ब्लड टेस्टिंग के लिए और कोविड टेस्टिंग के लिए भेज दिया गया है।
In another development, Russia released the first batch of Sputnik 5 vaccine for public use. Sputnik 5, jointly developed by the Gamaleya Institute and the Russian Defense Ministry, was licensed for domestic use in August.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of News Tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and your families. Good night.